Bushcraft 412, and today I want to do a second video on the USGI poncho. I just did my sleeping bag video on the poncho, and I was kind of, I looked and I couldn't find any of the videos on YouTube showing the poncho as a sleeping bag, which, if I'm wrong and there are videos out there, I'd love for you guys to leave a comment or send me a message and send me a link to it, because I'm just not finding them in my searches. And then too, I also did a search and I did not find any videos of anyone using the poncho as a bedroll. Tons of wool blanket videos using the wool blanket, and I got this idea actually when I used the poncho in a wool blanket bedroll, and then I kind of said, well, geez, if I'm going in the summer and I really don't need the wool blanket, why not just make a poncho bedroll using the liner? And I did this, only a couple of times. Maybe twice, I think, to be honest, 3 at most, as a system, and stayed the night like this. So it's really no different than a wool blanket bedroll, just you're using the poncho instead of a wool blanket. And if you do a search on wool blanket bedroll or cowboy bedroll, you will find just an absolute ton of videos, and a lot of them by guys like Dave Canterbury, who've been around forever and have been doing this a lot more than I have, who can give you some better tips as for rolling these than what I'm going to be able to give you. Because to be honest, I did a sloppy job rolling this. I was kind of, I guess, excited to do the video, so I rolled it up in a hurry. So you'll have to excuse my bad job on this. One thing I did do, I'd like to add, compared to some of the other videos, is I always tie a thumb loop into my shoulder strap. Yeah, I always put a shoulder strap into the bedroll so you can carry it over your shoulder, but I tie a thumb loop. I got this idea from rifle slings. A lot of rifle slings have thumb loops, and the idea is you put it over your shoulder, and this is something you can, when you're walking in front of you, you can put your thumb into and kind of hold the strap still. Same idea as in a rifle sling. I just like the idea, so especially when you have these paracords, they tend to slide around a little bit. So if you can put your thumb in there, it kind of gives it a little bit of a break and keeps it from sliding around so much. And if this is uncomfortable, you can always take a piece of your gear, like your bandana or whatever, and wrap it around this to pad your shoulder so it doesn't dig into your shoulder. So with that out of the way, let's get to untying this thing, which as usual is going to be a nightmare one-handed. I did some ties and a little bungee, because I like having bungees out in the woods. So of course I threw one on here. This is going to be a nightmare untying, and I apologize. Bungee is a good survival item. Great for setting up your tarp, for tensioning. Has spring, you can use it for snares and everything. Good item. Plus, if you get these ones like this one has a little hook on the end. That's a fishing hook, man. You grind that down on a rock so it's sharp, you got a fishing hook. Great little survival item. You would have thought, You can also use it for your traps, sharpen that up. And that's something, you can spring load and use it as a trap. This could hook into something and hold it, Neat idea, neat little survival item to have. And if you can find the ones like this with this little hook on the end, these are what I like to use. I don't like the plastic ones. Get the ones with a little metal hook. Way more useful. Alright, let's get to untying here. Here's just a piece of paracord I added on just so I'd have a little extra paracord in case I needed it. Never a bad idea. So that's like a couple feet of paracord right there. And then I use the drawstring that comes with it to tie it for the most part. Just did a little square knot. I wouldn't use a square knot if you're bringing this out into the woods. Learn some good tensioning knots and use them properly and tie this thing up right, man, because you don't want this thing coming loose on you in the woods. It's really not. Oh, here we go. We're falling apart now. Hang on one second while I roll this over. The idea of this is to roll it as a so that you can get easy access to some of your items you may need along the way. For example, your knife. I just threw a Mora in here. Substitute whatever knife you want, but Moras are good bushcraft knives. Very lightweight, so I threw this in there. Fisker's handsaw. Got this at Home Depot. It was like 14 bucks. This is a lot better quality than anything you're going to get at a camp store. It's actually locking, and get this. There you go, as you can see, nice blade. Let me zoom out here, having a little camera trouble. Very high quality, and it locks. Very hard lock to it. It has a button to release it. Why buy a camp one that's made really cheaply when you can buy an actual pruning saw, which is going to do just as good. Alright, let's get into my little gear pouch. And this is a big oversized Ziploc. And the reason why I chose this is so you have something to put water in, to put your clothes in to keep dry. Multi-use item. Spork. I'm sure you're going to eat when you're out in the woods. Get that out of the way. This is an old cigar tube. And I put lint in there. This is my tinder ball. If I don't have lint in there, I keep this with me lots of times, and I will throw tinder in here as I walk along. This is really lightweight, just very thin aluminum. Another thing I like about this is you can also cut little shards of this off and use them as like improvised fishing hooks. You know, cutting little pieces of this out, you know, especially the rounder edges, you can make little fishing hooks out of this in a dire emergency. So definitely a cool thing. Plus you can also put little bits of coal in here and transport coals in it. I've done that before, where I've taken a little bit of coals and put it in the bottom and, you know, carried them around and cut some holes in here for air and use this to carry coals. Neat little idea, but I use it for tinder now. Flashlight. Always good to have a nice bright flashlight. And having one that strobes, in my opinion, is a great idea, because this is an amazing signal tool. I've tested these out over some lakes when I've been out and had people using this to signal, and these are very highly visible in the woods. You can see these a long ways away when they strobe like this. This is a 200 lumen Cree flashlight, Cree LED. I got this off eBay for like $3. eBay is a great place to get cheap flashlights. You don't need to spend $30, $40 on a Surefire. You can get the knockoffs on eBay for dollars. This is my little toolkit. I've done a review on this. This is actually a little Molly pouch. I like this because it has the capability to put this on my belt at any time. Try and unzip this bad boy one-handed. There we go. And this is where I keep tools and whatnot. I do like this because I can put it in my belt or put it in my gear. It's, you know, multi-use item like that. And in there I've got flint and steel. This is a small Sharpie for signaling. If you are lost somewhere and you can write messages as to where you're going on the trees and direction arrows, you're a lot likely to be found if you got this. This weighs a couple of grams, could possibly save your life if you are in a situation where you're lost. Here is a whistle. Great survival item, signal item. Compass. Don't go in the woods without it. And one more thing, just a little Swiss Tech multi-tool. It's got a screwdriver, little pliers. A great little thing maybe if you have to pick up a pot out of the fire, you just need screwdrivers for maybe a piece of your gear. Just very lightweight, and as you can see, just fit right in the bottom of that pouch. Neat little thing to have if you don't want to carry a full-size multi-tool. That's it for that one. You can see this pouch holds a lot. I have an extra knife. Just that Remington Fast I did a review about. I really don't like this knife, so I keep it in my car now in my little car kit, but I pulled it out for this. But never hurts to have a throwaway knife, so if you don't want to ruin your good knife, have an extra pocket knife somewhere in your kit. Here, what do we got in here? Hey, look at that, another flashlight. Never hurts to have more than one. Backups are great. I do not know what that is, but it's going to take 2 hands to get it out. Oh, I know what that is. Tube of super glue. Great survival item. Fixing gear, wounds. If you puncture a hole in your poncho, you can fix it up with that. Great item for repairing stuff and a first aid item. I always keep these little dollar store tubes in my kits. I just throw them in little pockets like that where I can find them later. Little surprises. That's it for that. In here, I'm not going to pull them out, is my Zippo and some re-rolled duct tape on a looks like a cut down pen. So that gives me 2 ways of fire to start a fire. I think you definitely want to have 2, maybe 3. And the duct tape, once again, it's a great first aid item. Gear repair, anything like that, you know. A little bit of this duct tape and some super glue. You can fix any holes in this, or if the grommets blow out or something. Definitely worth its money to have. Moving along. Let's unroll this bad boy some more. Let's see what else we got in here. Here is a fleece in case you get cold. And looks like the rest is all down here. Bandana. I did a review on bandanas. Must-have gear item. This is, you know, a pot holder, a bandage, a hat, a scarf, you name it. This is, you know, a towel, something to clean with, you name it. Great item to have. I generally carry 1 or 2 of these whenever I'm out in the woods. Nice thick pair of full-length socks. Nice boot socks. Always an extra to have. Your feet will get cold at night. And down here, we got a couple more little things. Yes, we do. In here is another Ziploc. You can never have too many Ziplocs in your kit. This is 2 or 3 contractor black garbage bags. These are great for shelter. You can use them if you're using this to sleep on. You can use these as your poncho. You just cut a hole for your head and your arms. You can also use them as almost like thermal blankets because they're warm. You put them on in between your layers. Dave Canterbury did it in one of his videos, and I thought it was a great idea. Props to Dave. He just cut a head hole out in armholes, and he put it in between his wicking layer and his fleece. And I've tried it out a couple times in the woods, and it actually works really good. You can cut these. These are the big contractor bags, so you can cut these and make ground cloths out of them. This is just a run-of-the-mill space blanket, one of those extra large ones. Always a good idea to have as a safety item and a backup to your system. Small first aid kit with some medicines. I always keep Benadryl. And I do have a video on first aid kits. If you want to know more about them, look at that video because I talk a lot about what I put in there and why. There's some water tabs right there, water purification tablets. And there's some medicine, some band-aids, and gloves. Rubber gloves are a great item to have because if you are looking for game and trapping game, it's nice not to get all that gunk when you got them on your hands. But on top of that, if you get cold at night, you can put these underneath your gloves, and they'll keep your hands a lot warmer. They act as a vapor barrier. And if you do your research about vapor barriers, they do increase your heat and they keep any moisture from getting from your hand into your glove. So if you have sweaty palms, you're wearing these, the sweat's just going to build up in the glove and not get your glove wet. But you do have to be careful because if your hands are wet for a long time and warm, you can get funguses and things like that. So, you know, don't want to wear them all the time. But if you're definitely cold overnight and you wake up and you can't sleep because your hands are cold, throw these plastic gloves on, man. This is just a pair of hunting gloves. You can use these for general utility and for keeping warm at night. Great survival item. Never leave the house without a pair of gloves. because if you rip your hands to shreds cutting wood and doing survival tasks and bushcraft, you're going to be miserable. Your hands are going to be cut, you're going to be sore, you're not going to want to do anything. Bring a pair of gloves. I don't like hats very much. I like neck gaiters. I wear them a lot as hats because you can wear them on your head, your neck, over your ears. So I put this in instead of a hat, but easily replaceable with a hat. But I do like to wear these at night rather than a hat. I find them to be more comfortable. And that's that. And one thing I do want to add, and because there is something missing from this kit, and a couple people are already probably starting to catch on to it, is water. Now this will be on my belt. I would normally never put my water container in with my gear. One reason I do that is because if you get separated from your gear for whatever reason, say there is an emergency, you get lost, you drop your gear, somebody steals your gear or whatever, I always keep this on my belt. Because your water, you can go days without food, you can go days without all your gear, especially if you're smart and you can utilize natural resources to keep the weather off you, make natural bedding, natural, debris shelters. You can make it through inclement weather. You aren't going to make it without water. So I like to keep my water on my belt. This is just the Nalgene canteen. I like it a little better than the military surplus ones. They don't get that funky smell. In here, get this out, is the canteen cup. One of the greatest things ever invented. This one's brand new, never used it. As you can see, this is what I can boil my water in, eat in, do everything. I can live just on this because I don't need 3 or 4 pots and pans. You can cook in this, eat in it, do anything you want in this. They hold 2 cups. Great item. Plus it nests with your canteen. So you're looking at about like maybe a $12 item and a $10 item, maybe $20 for this. The carriers you can get at surplus stores for a couple bucks. And this one here has a pocket. And in this pocket I got a little surprise. I just have a little SBIT tab in here, to help start a fire. But in the spirit of this kit, I should have a small mini lighter in here. That way if I do get separated from my gear, I have a way to boil water and a way to make heat, So, but something to think about. You should always keep a lighter in your gear and out of your gear. That way if you do get separated from your gear from whatever reason, you're not left without fire. Because fire is often your biggest lifesaver out in the woods. So, that is it. That's my cowboy bedroll. Using a GI poncho and the poncho liner. And if you want to see more about these as a sleeping bag, I just put up a video about this as a sleeping bag with some more information. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And once again, if there's any other videos like this of anyone using the poncho as a bedroll, please send me a link so I can see them. Because I'm definitely curious to see what other people are doing and if anyone else has done this before. So please send me a